Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times to discuss horror and books. And today I'm here to talk to you guys about all the books that I plan to read for the Evil-a-thon.
It's coffee time!
So the Evil-a-thon is a 1 month long readathon that takes place every year in the month of November. Normally I give you 10 prompts. One of them is always to watch a movie because let's add some fun. And it's all about reading thrillers and horrors. It doesn't matter if you read middle grade, YA, adult, like really intense book, gory, just a little bit haunting, creepy, whatever you want. When it comes to horror, everybody has different preferences, different levels of horror and gore that they can take, and everybody is welcome. Everybody can enjoy their horror at their own kind of personal taste. So in this video, I am here basically going to tell you the things that I'm gonna be reading personally for the readathon. If you missed the announcement, make sure to check it out. And I also just posted another video on some recommendations that fit the different prompts. So without further ado, let's go. My coffee always first. For the first prompt, which is Silence of the Lambs, to read a book about a killer or serial killer, I have decided it is time to read You Love Me by Caroline Kepnes, which is the third book in the You series. You guys probably are really familiar with this, so I don't need to go into a deep explanation, but this follows a guy that is kind of like a sociopath and he's just not okay. And he has a really weird relationship with women. When he meets them, he absolutely falls in love with them to the point of obsession, and that leads him to do some really bad stuff. That's my way of pitching this book to you. I read You and Hidden Bodies, so this is the third installment and it came out a bit ago. I bought it right away and I still have not read it, so I feel like it is about time to catch up with Joe. Let's go to the second prompt. So the second prompt is Event Horizon, which is to read a sci-fi horror. And here's another book that has been on my TBR pile a couple of times. It has been recommended to me. It's a book that I've been meaning to read for the longest time, so it feels a little prompt. And that is The Luminous Dead by Caitlin Starling, and I just cannot wait. I feel like the premise of this book was that some people that are investigating plants or plant life go into this cave to collect some samples, and something goes wrong. That's kind of what I remember about this book when I read the synopsis, and I'm just here for it. I really hope to love it. I've heard a lot of people raving about it, so I'm kind of going into it with hype expectations, which is not always great, but I hope it won't disappoint. The next one is The Blair Witch Project, which is to read a book about a myth or legend, and I'm gonna read a book that came out recently, and I even have not hauled this book because it just came in the mail like a week ago, and that is Daphne by Josh Malerman. Amazon dropped the price to like 10 euros for the hardcover, and I'm like, now's the time to snatch it. So I got it and I'm really excited to read it. It's also not too long, so it's perfect. So we are in a high school, and before a big game, some friends I think are drinking and telling kind of ghost stories, and they tell the story of Daphne, which is supposed to be a student that attended that same high school that died, and nobody know exactly what happened to her, but they assume that she was murdered, and they say that her spirit or her ghost is still there. So that's where the legend or the myth part comes on the book, so I can use it for this prompt, and I'm so happy because I've been really wanting to read this one. It has kind of like a creepy cover. It's like a woman but it's faceless, and I'm here for it. So yeah, I'm really excited for this one, and I hope it's not gonna disappoint. The next one is A Sixth Sense, which is to read a book about ghosts or, you know, a hunting, something like that. And I have picked a book that is a little bit chunky, but I really want to read, and that is The Ghosts of Sleth by James Herbert. I wanted to read more by the author. I don't like this cover. I want to find a better cover than this, but for now I can read it. So I hope to get to this one because it's quite chunky. The lettering is quite small, but I think that if it's entertaining enough, I can fly through it. It follows a psychic investigator that is trying to figure out what's happening in a small town where apparently, you know, really bad things are going on. So I'm excited. Also, I like that he's like a psychic investigator, you know, kind of like a paranormal guy. So yeah, I'm excited. I did read other things by the author and enjoy them. So let's hope that I also enjoy this one. The next one is The Ring, to read a book that is cursed, a book that you've been meaning to read, that you always forget that you have it or that you had to read it. And I have chosen for this one Halloween Party by Stein, because I don't want to let another Halloween pass and me not reading this book, because I feel like it's one of those books that it's better if you read it during Halloween season or spooky season, so it has to happen, and it's also short. The next one is House on Haunted Hill, which is to read a book about a group of friends or strangers that go someplace or have to investigate something. You know the drill. So for these, I have chosen another one that it is Halloween themed, like heavily Halloween themed, and it's also a middle grade, so I was waiting to read this one for spooky season, and that is The Time Watchers by Robbie Miles. And we follow some best friends that are absolutely dying for Halloween season. They have everything prepared, the snacks, the horror movies, all the drill. But then during the sleepover that they organize for Halloween, there is a voice that calls one of them, and the next morning that person is missing. So what happens? I'm really excited, and it is a book that I found, I think, on Instagram, and immediately purchased it because it's a middle grade book about Halloween. So I haven't really heard people's opinions or reviews, so I'll guys let you know what I thought about it as soon as I read it. Candyman was to read a book with bugs or insects in the cover, and honestly this one was also a little bit of a challenge for me because I didn't want to pick a super chunky book. I want to make things a little bit easier for me in the month of November, since I'm currently not having all the free time in the world. But I have chosen this one, The Moth Diaries by Rachel Klein. This one is a book I found recently at a secondhand bookstore. It is about vampires, and it is written in diary entries, so it sounded really good. It's also not too big, even though the lettering is a little bit small, the font is small. But I am excited because I love, obviously, books written through diaries. You guys know I love Dracula, so anything written like that, I'm excited, and it's about vampires, so I hope to love it. Audition is to pick a book that was recommended to you, and I have another one that is a new release for 2022 that I saw recommended somewhere, and I immediately purchased it, and I still have not had the time to read it, and that is Frightmares by Eva B. Gibson. This is a book about, you know, one of those haunted houses that are open on Halloween that you can go and get scared, everything is fake. And it's one of those haunted house kind of attractions, and the problem is that somebody ends up dying for real. So what is happening, what's going on, we'll have to figure it out. I know what you did last summer is to read a book a little bit outside of your comfort zone, and I wanted to pick something horror or thriller, but honestly that's what I read all the time, so it would not really fit the prompt. And I also didn't want to choose romance because I occasionally do read romance books. Queer romance is something that I have been really enjoying this year. So I thought I would pick a book that I bought completely based on the cover and the title. And it's not horror or thriller at all. So I thought it would be perfect for me for this specific prompt. And that is The Cat Who Saved Books by Susuke Natsukawa. I got this one obviously because books and cats. It's also not too long, and I don't tend to read this type of books anymore, mostly because I just don't have the time, so I prioritize horror and thrillers. But I'm really excited for this one, to be honest, and it would be nice to read something completely different. So our main character's grandfather owns this secondhand bookstore that it's packed to the rim with books, and when the grandfather passes away, it seems that they might have to close the store, and then a cat shows up, and I think the cat kind of helps to save the store and save the books. I'm not really sure, but you know, I'm here for it. It's probably gonna be cute. It might also hurt my feelings. It might be sad, but I will let you guys know. And I will be vlogging throughout the whole Evil-a-thon. I think I'm gonna try to make weekly vlogs. I don't know how long they're gonna be, but that way I can kind of give you my impression on the books as I am reading them. So here it is, you guys. Here is my physical TBR pile for the Evil-a-thon 2022. I don't know if I'm gonna get to all of it, but I will definitely try my best. For the last prompt, you know, is to watch a movie that scares you. The last prompt is scream. You know, watch a movie that really will make you scream. So for me, I think, like I've mentioned before, I'm gonna rewatch the original Ring movie, because for me, Asian horror really creeps me out. The original Grudge really creeps me out, so I might rewatch those. With my partner, we have not watched them in a long time, so I feel like it would be great to go back to those. So yeah, that is my plan for the Evil-a-thon. Alright guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below, do you have your TBR pile ready? Which books are you really excited to read during the Evil-a-thon? And I'm really curious to know, which movie have you chosen to see? Because I would like to know what kind of things really scare you, what kind of things are like the creepiest for you, because we all have such different tastes. Like there is so many different things that scare some people that don't scare others. So I think I will be the most curious about the movie that you actually have picked, guys. Alright, thank you as always so much for all your support. Give the video a big thumbs up, and I hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!